I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you back as we start this term. I trust that all of you managed to find time with your families and rest as much as possible and spend quality moments with them. I know that it's the beginning of school and some of you may still be having responsibilities of taking your children or your grandchildren to school during this time. However, unfortunately, it is time for us to begin with our work. Honorable members, we received the news yesterday of the passing on of Ma Mishwe, the wife to Dade Mishwe, the leader of the ACDP. And may I request all of us to observe a moment of silence in honor of Me Mishwe. Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable members may have noted if the statement has circulated, yes, but last night I had directed Dade Muloto to prepare a message from the Speaker's office and the chairpersons on behalf of members of Parliament. So I'm sure that statement should be out by now. But the family for now, honorable members, has requested privacy. I'm sure they are still processing the issue, just for you to know, and I am sure very soon they will inform us about the dates or the arrangements for the burial of Mrs. Mishwe. Honorable members, we have a lot of work this year. Let us remember it is 2023, and within a few months, I don't even want to say next year, I want to say within a few months, we will be going to an election, national elections, and therefore there will be a lot of work which requires our attention, such as passing or finalizing some of the critical legislation which is on the table before us. Now, honorable members, are there any apologies first?
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Kasu.
Good morning, Madam Speaker and honorable members. We have received 2 apologies, Dr. Mulder and Mr. Heron. Honorable Sheikh Imam indicated that he is hospitalized currently, but he will try to join, so he might join or not join. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. Okay, we will note that our well wishes to Imam Sheikh, Honorable Imam Sheikh. But you know, honorable members, I think this is one of the things at some point we generally need to talk about just as human beings. I have made an observation that quite a number of colleagues, even when they are in hospital, colleagues will still be on the line and participate in meetings. Perhaps nothing wrong with that because they never switch on their videos. But I think it is inhumane to expect a person who is in hospital, who is very sick, to still be preoccupied with the work of Parliament. I'm not saying people should not demonstrate commitment, but I think that it's something which we should try to discourage from our members, because when you are in hospital, and doctors have deliberately taken a decision to confine you to hospital so that you can recuperate fully before you participate in your normal day-to-day activities. So, Honorable Sheikh Imam, our get well wishes to you, but please try to find time as much as is possible to rest. There is a reason for the doctors to keep you in hospital. And I think this is something which we need to talk about amongst ourselves, because we tend to be very anxious and get concerned about our work, but actually our lives and our health should come first, because it's not something you can claim back when it is gone. We have families, and our families still need us and they need our support. So thank you, Honorable Mr. Kaso, for the apologies. We then proceed now to consider the agenda before us. Honorable Swart, I see your hand.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In moving for the acceptance of the agenda, I would just like to thank you as the Speaker and party leaders who've expressed their condolences on the passing of Mameshwe. We also appreciate your the request for privacy, and the family and the ACDB will advise us all as to funeral arrangements, but we appreciate your prayers and your sentiments. In that, I move for the acceptance of the agenda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swart. Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Warm compliments for 2023 to all colleagues on this platform. We thank God that all of us we have made it. There are those who did not make it to 2023. We must always count our blessings. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to check if the State of the Nation address will be discussed when we're discussing programming of Parliament, or when is it going to be discussed? If it is going to be part of programming, I'll be fine. But if it is not, I wanted to add that we really don't have time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip, honorable members. I have not put yet at that item, precisely because it's on the 9th, and I thought we could discuss it at the next programming committee next week, because we are having a meeting next week early with the cluster, the security cluster, which is preparing for the State of the Nation address. So our meetings of officials have been meeting, and I'm aware that they've also met with a team of ministers who are discussing the issues of SONA. I thought that we could have it next week, but if there's something very strong we feel about having it today, it's something which can be considered, Honorable.
Through your permission, Honorable Speaker, I really request that let's get the highlights, because you know that the country is facing difficulties in terms of traveling. Want to know if all our members are coming, what is expected. So I request that we put that matter just to get highlights, because we have to communicate with our caucuses. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. That I thought is a very straightforward matter, that all members for the State of the Nation address will be expected to be in Parliament. I mean, there's no way we can have a hybrid State of the Nation address, but let us put it as a separate agenda item. But I want you to take note of the fact that all that we confirm is the dates, that the date indeed is the 9th. It will be at the City Hall, and that preparations are underway. Beyond that, that report can only be given fully next week. Now, Honorable Singh, if I may invite you to speak.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and compliments the new year to you and to all our colleagues. And I just wanted to support the Chief Whip in terms of getting some of the highlights, particularly with regard to number of guests. I know that there's a meeting this afternoon scheduled between all our secretaries at 2 o'clock, but at least we can start informing guests that we want to invite to make appropriate arrangements, travel and otherwise. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, honorable members. So on that note, Mr. Kaso, get ready to present that report on allocation of seats for those who will be in the gallery. I thought that the whippering would have been informed by now, or that the whippering would have met as well. But if that has not happened, let's put it as a standalone agenda item, Honorable Mr. Kaso. Are there any other matters, honorable members, which you would like to put on the agenda of the meeting today? Thank you, none. I don't see hands. Honorable members, may somebody move for the adoption then of the agenda?
Swart moves. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swart. The agenda of the meeting having been adopted, we then proceed to consider the minutes of the meeting of the 1st of December. Honorable members, the meeting of the 1st of December. Honorable members, are we happy with the minutes of the meeting of the 1st of December? Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party, followed by Honorable Singh.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I'm happy with the minutes. They reflected the true reflection of what was discussed. I therefore move for adoption of these minutes.
Thank you very much. Adoption of the minutes having been moved, and I hear that it is minutes are reflected. Let me hear Honorable Singh.
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So the minutes of the meeting of the 1st of December have been adopted, honorable members. We then proceed to consider the minutes of the 5th of December. Are we happy, honorable members, with the minutes? Are they a true reflection of the discussions of the 5th of December? If they are.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, from my side.
Yes, thank you very much. You may as well, Honorable Singh, then move for the adoption.
I do move for the adoption.
Thank you very much. Any seconders, honorable members?
I second, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ntombela. Honorable members, having adopted the minutes of the 2 previous meetings, may we now proceed then to deal with matters arising. Let us start with the matters arising.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Klassen.
Just to assist, ma'am, if I may.
Yes.
The main issue that was dealt with on the 1st of December was the Electoral Amendment Bill. And as members will be aware, that bill has since come back to the NA. It is now being considered by the committee of the NA. And the report is that the bill will be finalized on the 7th of February. Just also to indicate that the court has since granted an extension, and that extension is 28th of February. So we are within the timeframes as granted by the court. And the other matters really related to private members' bills that were being considered by the bills office, and the Section 89 process. That is what was discussed on that in that meeting. And again, the 5th of December, it was exclusively on the issue of the Section 89 report. And if members would recall, at that point, the report would have been dealt with on the 6th of December. And that meeting then agreed that the report would be moved to the 13th of December. So that is really what was dealt with on the 5th of December. So those are matters arising, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. Honorable Singh, I see your hand.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and thank you, Mr. Custer, for the report on the electoral amendment bill. Madam Speaker, we have received notification and we read of legal challenges regarding voting procedures and things like that. And I just want to confirm that the Office of the Speaker is dealing with those legal challenges, because some of us as parties do not get involved, but will respect the decision of the court, whatever the decision be. So if we could have some brief on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. Masbulele, I see your hand.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Yes, the Office of the Speaker is dealing with the two matters. Basically, the matters relate to the voting procedure on the 13th of December, and that matter is being dealt with. And the other matter relates to the challenge of the report being challenged by the presidency. And of course, when that matter is due, the Office of the Speaker will deal with that issue as well. And I'm aware there may also be other parties, political parties that are respondents, well, not maybe, but there are parties that are respondents, and some have indeed joined the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mr. Kaso. Honorable members, that was the report. Yes, we are. In fact, we have responded. We have filed papers. We have a senior counsel which will challenge the submission made by the honorable members who are challenging my ruling for a secret voting process on the 13th of December. We're challenging that. I do want to say this. The second issue is that of the report of the which relates to the panel of legal experts, independent panel. That report, yes, we have received information about the contents from the president, the contents of his submission to the courts, and we have decided that we will wait for the courts to deal with the matter and will abide with the decisions of the court. Having dealt with that, honorable members, with those two issues, we then proceed to deal with the rest of the issues. Are there any other matters arising, honorable members, other than the ones we have already discussed? Honorable Singh.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we also read that the Office of the Public Protector has concluded a report on the Phala Phala matter, and I'm just wondering, not for today, but whether Parliament as an institution is going to giving any thought on how we're going to deal with that particular report when it is published. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. Firstly, let me start by saying we have not received correspondence from the Public Protector as to whether that process has been finalized or not, except for what we have read or seen from the public media. That's number one. Number two, maybe I may as well report that yesterday I received a request to support for a summoning of some of the witnesses to appear before that panel, which deals with the Yankee panel, which deals with the issues of the current public protector. We have since signed and concurred with that, and therefore, hopefully then the panel will be able to to receive representations from those witnesses. Now, I was just raising it only because it relates to the Office of the Public Protector. Honorable Papo, I see your hand.
Thank you.
Speaker, I'm just a bit worried because we did not report the matter to the Public Protector. It was members Zungula and other people. The Public Protector communicated directly with the complainants because there's a procedure. Now, if we discuss that issue when we are not the ones who reported it, what will be the basis? And I'm worried the way we are dealing with matters arising is not what was in the agenda of last meeting. We're just picking up on issues and so on, and it's going to create problems for the meeting. That's why it's good for Mr. Kaso to just table and list those issues of the meeting, of that meeting of the first. Otherwise, we're going to be derailed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Papo. I thought it was proper for me to provide a response and clarity on the issue, that in fact, we have not as yet been informed about whether this has been completed investigation or not. But just to say that, of course, I am noting the concern you are raising, which is that members should avoid raising matters under matters arising, matters which are not part of the minutes we have dealt with. So please, honorable members, if you could then take note of that. Honorable members, any other matters and the matters arising? It seems there are no hands, there are none. So we then proceed, honorable members. We proceed to deal with the report, not before. The report of the Ms. Kiba. There is a, yes, let's proceed with Ms. Kiba. And then Ms. Kiba, then Dr. Mbata. And then the issue of the, I nearly brought the issue of the commemoration of former speaker. I nearly brought it here. Would have been my mistake. So honorable members, please allow Ms. Kiba to then take us through her report.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. A very good morning to you, Madam Speaker, the honorable members, as well as my colleagues. I present before you, Madam Speaker, bills before the National Assembly committees. There are currently 32 bills before the National Assembly committees, and there are 4 other matters before committees, 1 statutory appointment and 3 petitions. I will present, with your permission, Madam Speaker, slides where there are developments since we last reported, and I will start with slide number 4. On this slide, we have the National Health Insurance Bill before the PC on Health. This committee has revised its program and it aims to finish that bill on the 8th of March. Moving to slide number 7. The Railway Safety Bill before the PC on Transport. This committee is continuing with public hearings on this bill in the 6 provinces, and they have started on the 27th of January. Slide number 8. The PC on Mineral Resources and Energy has also public hearings planned on the Upstream Petroleum Resources Development Bill. Slide number 9. The National Fed and Forest Amendment Bill before the PC on Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment intend to finalize that bill on the 31st of January. And on slide number 10, as it was indicated by Mr. Kaso, Madam Speaker, this committee will now finalize the Electoral Amendment Bill on the 7th of February. On that same slide, number 7, we have a bill before the PC on Basic Education, the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill. This committee is also currently on public hearings in Limpopo as we speak on that bill. Slide number 11, before the Portfolio Committee on Forestry again, this committee is also planning public hearings from the 3rd of February on the Climate Change Bill. And on that same slide, the South African Post Bank Limited Amendment Bill before Peace and Communication will now be finalized on the 14th of February. Slide 14 and 15, Madam Speaker, indicate two new bills that were referred towards the end of 2022 before the PC on health, as well as before the PC on justice, as indicated on that slide. And on slide number 15, we have a new bill for 2023, and that bill is also before the PC on justice. On slide number 17, the Committee on Section 194 Inquiry has also revised its program and intend to finish its work on the 29th of March. And this is subject to them getting the necessary approvals to meet. And lastly, Madam Speaker, on slide number 18, we have a statutory appointment before the PC on Public Service and Administration on the request by the President to appoint a person as a commissioner in the Public Service Commission. This committee will meet on the 7th of February to consider a short list of candidates on this appointment. That concludes my report, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kiba. Thank you very much for your report. Honorable members, are there any matters you'd like to raise from the report? None, honorable members. Shall we then proceed to deal with the report from the Bill's office? Dr. Mbata.
Good morning, Madam Speaker and honorable members. I will report from slide number 2. On slide number 2, I will report on bills that were before Parliament and those that are currently before Parliament. In 2023, there's one bill that has been introduced and 84 bills were introduced in 2022. On the NA order paper, Madam Speaker, there's nothing since 10 bills that were on the order paper, either for first reading or second reading, lapsed. And there's one bill that was returned to NA for processing as amended by the NCOP, which is the Electoral Amendment Bill. And there's one bill to be referred to mediation. And there are 32 bills that are before NA committees. All these bills are listed on the bills before Parliament report that was distributed together with this report. On the next slide, which is slide number 3, we have indicated that we will be waiting for the 2023 executive legislative program that is still to be submitted. And on the 2022 executive legislative program that was submitted last year in May, there are 13 bills that were assented to that were on the list, 6 introduced and are still before Parliament. Of the 6 that are still before Parliament, we've got 2 bills that were recently introduced. The first one that was introduced in December, the 15th, is the repeal of the Transkenyan Penal Code Bill. And there's one that has been introduced this year, which is the Constitution 18th Amendment Bill. Next slide. In slide number 4, we have indicated a bill that has been approved by the Cabinet and still being processed for introduction, which is the Merchant Shipping Bill. And the next slide. In this slide, we've indicated 4 bills that are with the presidency for assent. And we decided to indicate as well all the bills that have been assented to since our last meeting, which is 9 of these bills that have been listed in this report. And the last slide. On the last slide, we have indicated the revenue bills that will be introduced in February and those that will be introduced in October. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. That's all from us.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Mbata. Honorable members, any matters you'd like to raise from the report? Okay, none, honorable members. And therefore we then proceed to the next item on the agenda. The next item, honorable members, on the agenda is the commemoration of former Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Trinity Nwala. First, even before I make a comment about what I wish to raise, what we are proposing as presiding officers, allow me to thank all of you, honorable members, all parties, for, being there. We're part of the memorial service of Dr. Nwala as the first Speaker of a democratic parliament. I think it was good, honorable members. I know that people were scattered all over, but I think it was good when you had the word that a memorial service would be held on the day that honorable members could turn up. Thank you very much to all of you. But secondly, honorable members, just to say that we, as presiding officers, we had thought that we could actually have a joint sitting on the 2nd of February in honor of Dr. Trinity Nwala. However, it has since come to our attention now that the 2nd of February, there will be a cabinet dikgotlha. So we then thought it would not be proper to continue with a joint sitting without cabinet. It would only be proper that we then postpone. We have since moved it to the 6th of February, which is a Tuesday. We were also trying as much as is possible, honorable members, to make sure that we don't, it's not too close to the State of the Nation address. It does not interfere with the State of the Nation address, that we have this commemoration and then we're done with it. Maybe some members may have felt that or feel strongly that maybe we should have it after the State of the Nation address, but we felt again that, we shall have, everything you need to keep with timing and so on. So if we have it way later, really, it will lose its meaning and its essence. So we are proposing, therefore, to you, honorable members, to support us in our initiative to have this joint sitting on the 6th of February. Lastly, just to say that we are also proposing that this sitting should be held at the City Hall because it will be a joint sitting, but also having it at the City Hall will also allow for people, even people who are outside of Parliament, who may want to observe that moment with us to come forward. So that is where we are, honorable members. I see your hand, and I'm hoping that honorable members will support us. Honorable Singh, followed by Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Just a correction, the 6th is a Monday. 6th of February is the Monday. And you said Tuesday, so I don't know if you perhaps meant 7.
Sorry.
Just...
Well, then it means there's a problem. Mr. Tasoke, will you please let me entertain Ms. Matutina first? You are right, Honorable Singh, but because when we were having a meeting, for some reason, we all assumed that the 6th will be on a Tuesday. But if you are saying the 6th is actually on a Monday, then much as we are putting the proposal, but we also will have to take note of the fact that it is a party day. So I would hope that honorable members, because the processes are already underway, that they will support us, because otherwise it's going to prolong. Remember, State of the Nation address is on Thursday, on the 9th, let me be sure now about my dates, on Thursday the 9th. Thank you very much, Honorable Singh, for drawing my attention to that. For some reason, I thought it was on Tuesday. Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we want to move that we support a joint condolences motion for our former speaker. I further support that we use the City Hall because our two chambers, the Good Hope Chamber and the NCOP, they are too small, and we want to give a befitting a memorial as a parliament, but also agreeing with Mr. Singh that the 6th is on a Monday. However, I don't have a problem of allowing Monday as a party day that we can, as political parties agree, that Monday can be used for this commemoration or this memorial. Because if we are talking about City Hall, that is also going to be used for sauna. At a particular time, there is a lockdown of the venue where the venue must be prepared. So if we take it to Tuesday, it might constrain those who are supposed to do logistics in the venue. So I firmly support Monday and political parties. We know that Monday is our constituency day, but I think we can be flexible because we are requesting this once in a while. On a different matter that I think it must be packaged to other discussion, Honorable Speaker, is that we have the program of rebuilding Parliament, or the buildings in the precinct of Parliament. I will then propose that when we do that, we must also integrate the transformation of Parliament and the precinct of Parliament and the acknowledgement of members who passed on, as we have been saying here during COVID-19, but now with this passing on of former speaker, that also must be integrated in that plan, because we'll have to acknowledge them in one way or the other through the whatever that Parliament might think of doing. It is an important thing. Having lost a first speaker of Parliament, it's just not a small thing. We must give honor to the work that he has performed to bring Parliament to where the Parliament is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable members, I hear us agreeing, all of us, that we proceed with the commemoration, with the memorial service in a joint sitting form. Oh, I see the end of Honorable Singh. Honorable Singh.
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just on the day, Monday or Tuesday, I really don't want to commit on behalf of the party, because we do have NEC meetings on a Monday. But I have no problem if the majority feel that we should proceed. And just to ask whether we will allow it to be I know we want to go to City Hall, but will we also allow a virtual connectivity on the day like we usually do, even when we are at the City Hall? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Singh. To be honest, obviously it would have to be, but I would also like us to avoid a situation where we book the City Hall, because we are expecting that we will be hosting all honorable members, if possible, in a joint sitting form. And it will be a set if honorable members then decide that they would rather be on a virtual platform. But there are circumstances where we will not be able to avoid having it in a hybrid form by way of exceptions. So I want to appeal as much as is possible that honorable members really encourage the honorable members to attend the memorial service. I would imagine, for instance, that there'll be different speakers from all the political parties. And I cannot imagine that we'll be having this memorial and then, of course, some will have to go in on a virtual platform and so on. We really pray and wish that all of us can find the time to honor this honorable speaker, late speaker. But I'm sure in your case, for instance, there's Udata, and if Udata, for instance, is unable to attend, but would like to be linked, I'm sure those are matters which those who deal with connectivity can deal with. Thank you. Honorable Majutina, Chief Whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I've just noted that there are about 4 parties who are not in this meeting with no apologies. And here we're talking about a constituency day. So it would be good to have buy-in from all parties. I want to suggest that immediately after this meeting, individual parties are written to request that the NAPC has agreed to utilize Constituency Day, which is on a Monday, for this joint memorial sitting, and if they could indicate their support to that. If they don't on a Monday, the 6th will have to go to the 7th. But I still want to maintain that the 7th will make it difficult for those who are preparing the venue for SONA. It's a pity that really our chambers are too small for such an event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable Swart.
No, thank you, Speaker, and I fully support you and other speakers in the session of the memorial service at the City Hall. I also appreciate Mr. Singh's concerns and the fact that parties will need to be consulted. However, I do share your concerns if it is a hybrid meeting. We often see, even in Parliament at the moment, where it's a hybrid session, that Parliament, even in the Good Hope Chamber, is not full. And it's very difficult to anticipate who will be physically then at the City Hall and not. So I want to share your concerns in that regard. One would not want at such an eminent memorial service to have the City Hall half empty. So I think we need to really reflect on whether it should be hybrid or not. And I think that is a matter for deliberation as well. I just wanted to share the concerns that you also expressed in this regard. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swart. Honorable members, just to reassure you that we will be definitely going to write to all the parties to inform them about the proposal we put on the table, which has been agreed to by the NAPC, so that on the 6th we have this memorial service in the form of a joint sitting. Honorable members, I've also received yesterday a letter from the other former speaker, Speaker Mbete, whose contents I will not divulge right now, but rather I will circulate the letter to all political parties so that at the next meeting of the programming committee, you can then express your views and see how we can take the proposals in the letter forward, honorable members. So for now, I'd rather we would not discuss the matter now because we did not circulate this letter to you, but we will do so next week. We will discuss the proposals which are made by the honorable former speaker. Now, honorable members, Shall we then proceed to receive the draft parliamentary program report from Mary Suma? Mary Suma, I invite you to present the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Compliments of the new year and good morning, colleagues. Chair, Honorable Speaker, allow me not to go through the program in terms of dates and weeks and all that, but talk to the summary. Reason being that it has been circulated, and secondly, the framework was adopted last year, and also we did talk to the program in terms of what the week will entail per week. Safe to say, Chair, that the beginning of this week or this quarter, I'll just talk within the quarter, not the whole program. It's a 10 weeks one, which is a term that will end on the 31st of March. The other point that I would like to raise is that the committees and oversight are scheduled until the 8th of February, which it's in progress, is underway as we speak. The President's State of the Nation address, which we just spoken about, will be on the 9th. And worth noting that the sitting will be on at 19 hours at Cape Town City Hall. I'm raising the time, Honorable Speaker. Probably members would love to reflect on that, noting the load shedding as well. But I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just passing on that point, which will be followed from the 9th and then followed by the 14th and the 15th of February in the reply by members, in which will be a joint sitting as well. And then on the 16th will be the reply by the Honorable President to the 2 days, which is the 14th and the 15th. All those meetings or plenaries from the 15th to 15th and the 16th will be starting or commencing at 14 hours at Cape Town City Hall, which is a full virtual sitting. The budget speech is scheduled for the 22nd of February, which will also be taking place at Cape Town City Hall. And ordinary meetings are scheduled for the committees to commence on from the 21st of February to consider, among other things, legislations and the report, which will be then populated as the week progresses. The International Women's Day and Human Rights Days debate are also scheduled during the term, as you would have noticed in the program that I'm not talking to it in terms of the weeks. The questions, which is worth noting, is the questions to the Deputy President, the President and Deputy President, which are scheduled for the President on the 9th of March and Deputy President on 23rd of March, respectively. Many plenaries are scheduled to consider business as proposed by parties from the 2nd and the 16th of March, and parties are indicated, those ones who are supposed to sponsor topics for debate on those mini plenaries. And of course, there's one that is carried over, which we agreed in principle last year, which will be populated from the EFF as well. The very last point that I would like, second last point that I would like to talk to is the consideration of the fiscal framework and revenue proposals and division of revenue bills is proposed for the 8th and the 23rd of March, respectively. And the last point that I would like to highlight in the program is the next constituency period, which will commence from the 3rd to the 17th of April. We here present the draft program of the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker. If there are any clarities, technical clarities, through your permission, I'll request Mr. Tasso also to chip in if necessary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Suma. Honorable members, I see the hand of the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, and followed by Mr. Tasso.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me welcome the presentation of this parliamentary program. The 9th SONA, 7 o'clock. I hope that we are going to have all the necessary backup as we are facing the energy crisis in terms of load shedding. Now, my point goes to the debate. I know that it is our tradition that the debates start at 2 o'clock, but with the challenges of load shedding, I want to make a proposal that we start the House at 10 o'clock because it becomes better during the day. So that when members arrive in their houses as well, at least they arrive on time for the safety of members, especially women members. During the load shedding, the levels of crime go up. So I want to make a proposal that can't we consider to start debates at 10 o'clock instead of the normal and usual time of 2 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip. There's a proposal on the table, honorable members, and I would like you to comment on it and then allow you, Mr. Kaso, to respond. There's a proposal that we continue with our opening with our SONA, normal time at 7. However, the debates should start at 10. Honorable Singh.
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Chief, for that proposal. I think we will have no fundamental problem to that proposal because generally the load shedding increases towards the evening when from 4 o'clock onwards. So I think we'll have no fundamental problem, but Parliament's just got to work it out and let us know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. Honorable Swart.
No, thank you, Speaker. Also from our side, I appreciate the Chief Whip's concerns in this regard, and we would support that starting earlier. Obviously, they could have an impact on committees, but that would have to be taken into consideration. May I also, Speaker, just again raise the issue that many of us do, and that is the issue of time allocation for smaller parties. If we could get an idea particularly when one has debate over a number of days, that the smaller parties where we often have our party leaders speaking would be accorded more time than normally. I'd really ask you to consider this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swart. I guess it should be a matter which should be considered. It should be a matter which we'll start discussing at the whippery. And once that recommendation comes, then we'll look into the matter. Mr. Kaso.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With your permission, let me deal with the SONA matters. One, again, to confirm that the date is the 9th and the sitting is fully physical sitting. Both SONA and the budget. It's no hybrid. And for SONA, again, the issue of the time for the debates, we noted we will have to consult with the NCOP because it's a joint sitting. So we'll just have to settle that matter. I don't foresee a challenge there. For the SONA on the 9th, the necessary backup is in place in terms of power, so we will not have, we shouldn't have problems at that time. There will be guests. The venue accommodates 263 guests in the gallery, and honorable members, parties, and the NCOP are allocated 50. So 10 will go to the NCOP and 40 to the NA. We will send the allocation to the parties soonest. Again, I've indicated the issue of fully physical seating, and the seating arrangement will be shared with the parties. We have a proposal. Again, the delay was really due to us having to consult with the other house before we can make it available to the honorable members. But of course, there will be space for all the members and for both houses at the joint sitting. In terms of who will be in the gallery, the judiciary will be present. The diplomatic corps will be present, heads of Chapter 9 institutions, guests of the presidents, and of course, guests of parliament. Madam Speaker, those are the key issues that I would like to highlight in respect of the state of the national press. Obviously, we'll deal with any questions that arise. I've dealt with the time issue. I've dealt with the need to consult with the NCOP. And yes, and the fact that I think we want to emphasize both the budget and the sonar is physical. And we also just wanted to highlight that before the budget today, just in terms of the program, we really request that sitting that is highlighted there, it should happen. We do need to do two things. One, to reestablish the ad hoc committee on the floods. The NCOP has already done that, the floods in KZN and parts of Eastern Cape. So we need to do our part as the NA on that day. We'll also need to do a motion that enables the NA to meet at the City Hall. We will, but this will be discussed with the WIPARI. We will try to do a motion that will be generic so that we don't have to be doing a motion every time we're sitting outside. So we'll prepare a motion that will take care of the situation until at least the end of this parliament. Madam Speaker, that would be my input. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Kaso. Honorable members, are there any further questions to the report by Mr. Kaso? Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me welcome this presentation from Mr. Kaso. Public gallery, it takes 263. Parliament, 2 houses are allocated 60, meaning that 203 goes to guests. I don't think that is fair. I don't think that is fair. Without me bringing really numbers here, I just want to recommend that can this be reworked? 60 out of 263, 50 is allocated to NA, 10 is allocated to NCOP. I don't think it is very fair. I want to make it put that chair, and I support that we must have that sitting that Mr. Kaso has quoted for re-establishing of the committee on floods, as well as the general motion on sitting outside the presence of Parliament as per the Constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip. Mr. Kaso, I don't know if we want to discuss this issue of numbers here now, but I know that at the meeting we had this week with of the executive, you did give us an idea of how the numbers will be distributed. So rather, we have maybe an urgent meeting, if it is possible, Chief Whip, for you to convene an urgent WIPARI, even if it is virtual, where you provide, you discuss the matter, and Mr. Kaso can take through all the numbers and the allocations the way they have been done. So that matter is thoroughly discussed, and then we see what next to do based on your recommendations. Is that agreed to, honorable members?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Honorable Swart?
No, Speaker, I wanted to agree, but it could be helpful just to circulate a document before, and if such a document is available, as to understand the seat allocate, the guest allocation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Swart. Mr. Kaso, you had your hand up and then you withdrew it when I summarized. Do you think you can circulate that list before the meeting?
Ma'am, yes, certainly we are available to engage on the matter, and we'll make the information available. There is no way I remove my hand because Madam Speaker dealt with the matter. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. Honorable Papo?
Speaker, I have a very different view. I think Mr. Tasso and the Chief Whip can engage on that issue, and then so that by the time a draft document is circulated, which you had said was going to be fully discussed next week, there is some form of a proposal. Otherwise, if we're going to convene, there won't be agreement in that. There's going to be a lot of arguments in that meeting. My sense is that I think the Chief Whip has raised the issue of an increase. He can raise that with the team, and then that is put in the document, which then gets circulated to parties, and then it's finalized. Otherwise, it may create, because anyway, I think the idea is okay, but convening a Chief Whip's forum for that, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Papo. Honorable Lisuma.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Probably while one just said agreed that Honorable Papo does make sense, because if we are going to deal with the logistics in terms of numbers on that, it's more of a back office work. I will say that let the approach that is being suggested, of course, one or the other also will be posted in terms of the changes that would have been made. But in principle, at this level, we agree that what has been presented in terms of allocation of numbers needs to be reviewed and be finalized and communicated after finalization thereof. Then I'm agreeing with Honorable Ho. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lisuma. Honorable Singh.
Honorable Speaker, I have a view that let's leave it to the discretion of the Chief Whip. She convenes the Chief Whip's forum, and if she thinks it's necessary to call us together, she must do so. Save that I heard Mr. Kaso saying 50, unless I heard incorrectly. I heard 10 for NCOP and 40 for NA. And Chief Whip, you said 50 plus 10. So I think these things need to be cleared out, and Chief Whip will leave it in your hands to convene us if necessary, but you make a very, very valid point about numbers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Singh. Now I see a flurry of hands. Honorable Deputy Chief Whip of the TA, Opposition Party.
Good morning, Speaker, and thank you. Speaker, yes, I agree with everything. I would just want to request that this be dealt with quite urgently, as these guests have to be invited, so that we don't leave it to the last minute to invite them. Thank you.
Okay. Well, in that case, honorable members, I think that Mr. Kaso and the Chief Whip, the sooner you meet, the better. I know that there's a document which was presented by Mr. Kaso to us last week on Friday, and I'm sure this document can always be discussed with the Chief Whip, so that if there's a need to revise the numbers as they are currently presented on that report, then that should be done. Mr. Kaso, is that okay? Chief Whip, is that okay?
It certainly is in order, ma'am, from our side. We'll discuss with the Chief Whip.
Thank you.
Yes, it is in order, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It would be good then if the two of you could discuss it as quickly as even later today or even tomorrow, because remember, some of the allocation would be allocation to the president, and you know, so I don't want a situation where there is presidency, the judiciary. I don't want a situation where there will be confusion. So the sooner this is done, the better, so that it's finalized, so that we do the right thing. And if there's a need for us to revise those numbers as they currently stand, then we need to do that, Mr. Kaso. Thank you very much, honorable members. I think we've come to the end of our discussion on the parliamentary program. Are there any announcements, Mr. Kaso?
No, ma'am, there will be no announcements. We will be conducting the parties about the issue of the 6th very shortly. In fact,
thank you very much.
start with the deputy chief whip of the opposition. She was not part of the meeting at that point, but we'll discuss with her.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. Honorable members, thank you very much. We're done. It is 25 to 10. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
For your cooperation.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and
Recording
members.
stopped.
This adjourned.